Hey there, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a system that's designed to fix the chaos of modern remote work. It's called Get Organized, and it's built on this really interesting kind of counterintuitive idea. What if you could keep your entire team in sync without all the constant meetings and interruptions?
Okay, let's just kick things off with a question that I'm pretty sure is going to hit home for a lot of you. Does your workday feel, well, like a total mess? Constant pings, documents scattered everywhere, and just back-to-back meetings trying to figure out what's even going on.
And yeah, that's really the core problem Get Organized is designed to fix. All our important info is just everywhere. It's in some Slack thread over here, buried in an email chain over there, and then scattered across who knows how many project tools. So what happens? We end up in meetings not to do actual work, but just to get aligned. And that constant switching between things, it's completely draining.
So it really does feel like we're drowning in all this digital noise, right? Let's dig into that frustration just a little bit more, because when you really get how bad the problem is, the solution we're about to look at seems even more brilliant.
Now here's the interesting part. One group of people has pretty much figured this out, software developers. They've got these super powerful platforms, GitLab and GitHub, that are amazing for managing complicated projects. But for everyone else, designers, marketers, the non-technical folks, these tools feel way too complex. It's like being handed the keys to a jumbo jet when all you need to do is pop down to the shops.
So the big question is, how do you get all that power without the crazy complexity? Well, the answer is in the core idea behind Get Organized, communicate without communicating. Sounds a bit weird, I know, but let's see what it actually means.
So this is Get Organized. It was created by a guy named Luke Carter, and what it does is pretty clever. It basically puts this really simple, user-friendly skin on top of GitLab. So you get all the power of that developer tool, but in a way that anyone can actually use. And just so you know, a version for GitHub is on the way too.
And this quote from Luke Carter himself just nails it. It's not really about managing projects. It's about managing how you communicate what you're doing. The system itself does the talking for you. It becomes the messenger, which means you can actually focus on your work instead of just answering, hey, what's the status on that all day long.
The whole thing really boils down to 3 super simple but really important rules. First, always post to the ticket. All the chats, screenshots, updates, everything lives right there. Second, one in-progress task at a time. That's it. This gives managers a crystal clear view of what you're actively working on. And third, and this is the big one, learn to check the system first before you ping someone for an update.
Okay, so that's the big idea, but how does it actually work day to day? Let's get into the nuts and bolts.
It all kicks off with this really clear labeling system, which is kind of inspired by that whole getting things done idea. Now, this isn't for the giant team project board. This is for you. It helps you answer the key questions: what's in my inbox to deal with later? What do I absolutely have to finish today? And most importantly, what is the single thing I am working on right this second?
And to make sure everyone can actually use it, the system has this designer view. It basically just hides all the complicated developer stuff you don't need to see. Plus, it pulls all your messages from email, Slack, and GitLab into one central place. So you finally have a single spot to check for what needs your attention. No more hunting around.
All right, those labels and the simple view, super helpful for staying focused. But the part where Get Organized goes from nice to, whoa, this is a game changer, is what they call the living calendar. This is where things get really, really cool. So here's how it works. The system is smart enough to split your schedule into 2 parts. You've got your planned calendar, which is for your deep, focused work, the stuff from GitLab. And then you have your conflict calendar. That's, real life, all your meetings, your appointments, your lunch break. And the genius part is the system can see and work with both of them.
Okay, and this is where the magic really kicks in. A manager can create a task with a time estimate. Then, the system automatically slots that task into a team member's planned calendar, working around all the meetings on their conflict calendar. Now get this, if a task starts taking longer than you thought, the calendar event for it just extends automatically, minute by minute. And when that happens, it pushes all the other tasks for that day back, again, completely automatically.
So let's play this out. Imagine you're working on something for John, and it's taking a bit longer than planned. John doesn't have to send you a Slack message asking for an update. Nope, he just looks at your calendar and sees the new real-time ETA. At the same time, Marion and Jane, who are waiting on you for their next steps, see their tasks get pushed back automatically. You just updated 3 different people on your status without ever being interrupted. You just kept on working.
What this ends up creating is what you could call a living Gantt chart. You know those project timelines that are usually a work of fiction the minute they're created?
Well, this one is different. It's a timeline that is always accurate because it's constantly updating itself based on real-world stuff like meetings and delays. It's the truth.
So this is obviously a huge deal for how teams can work. But let's zoom out a bit. What's the business model here? And what's the future look like for this whole idea?
The pricing is actually super straightforward. The core system, the part that works with the free version of GitLab, is totally free. If you want the more advanced stuff, like that amazing calendar plugin we were just talking about, it's just $5 a month per person.
What's really cool is that Luke Carter is actually pitching this to GitLab as a kind of Black Ops alliance. He's basically saying, hey, I can help you guys solve some of your biggest problems. He can offer powerful planning tools to free users, he can build and test new features way faster, and he can create a super simple on-ramp to get non-technical people into the GitLab world. It's a win-win.
And the plan goes way beyond just GitLab. There's a version for GitHub that's already being developed. The next step after that? Bringing this whole priority system to your email with something called Get Organized for Gmail. The ultimate vision is to have one single dashboard that pulls in everything from GitLab, Slack, and email and organizes it all for you.
When you step back and look at this whole thing, the main takeaway is pretty simple, but it's a big one. We need to stop using meetings to create transparency. Instead, we should be using our tools to build that transparency right into how we work. That's how we get our focus and our time back.
So, this whole system really leaves us with one big question to think about. What would it mean for you and for your team if your calendar could finally tell the truth? If it wasn't just a list of hopeful guesses, but a real, living source of truth for when work will actually get done.